Hey everyone, Dave from BCBushcraft, and welcome to my knife making series. Today I'm going to be starting a series of videos on me making my first few knives. I'm going to be making them by hand with hand tools, and the only power tool that I will be using is a drill, but everything else is going to be done by hand. Now I haven't done this before. This is my first time making knives. I've never built one from scratch before, so this is going to be a learning experience for me. And I figured that I might as well document it from the get-go and make, part one all the way up to part whatever, however long it takes of my process through making my first few knives. And then after I'm finally finished my first knife or my first few knives, I'll kind of do a compilation where, I make a shorter video of the whole process in one go. So it kind of gives a general overview of what I'm doing. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find it fun. And I really would like some of you guys, if you've made knives before, please comment. And I would like to have a discussion with you guys. I really would like to have a conversation on things that I could be doing better or things that you've done where you made mistakes, and you can let me know, because I've never done this before. I've played around a bit, but I've never made a knife from start to finish. Okay, so before I even bought the materials for knife making, I decided to play around a little bit with designing some knives. So just on a sketchbook, I drew up a few different knife designs that I thought might be fun to make. And, I took into account some of the other knives that I own and either copied some of the design or just made my own as I went. When you draw a knife and you cut it out on paper, because when you draw a knife and you think it's going to be really comfortable, you have a vision in your head, you cut it out on paper, you still don't really get a feel for how the knife is actually going to be in your hand. So I went and made a bunch of them out of wood, out of 3/4 inch plywood. I cut out the general shapes and, just put it in my hand to feel if I liked it or not. I figured out that when I designed this knife that this was too shallow and there was not enough meat to grab here. I played around with a few different designs. Some of them really felt simple, and I figured out a few things that I liked and that I didn't like just by making wooden models of a knife first. So when I bought my metal, I bought a bar of 1084 high carbon steel because it's supposed to be the easiest one to heat treat when you're using things like blow torches and stuff like that. Everything else you have to be a little bit more precise, and the way that I'm going to be heat treating is not going to be precise, so that's why I chose the 1084. The metal itself is 1/8 of an inch thick. That's my favorite thickness for a knife. So I basically have a plan to make 3 knives of varying lengths. One that's roughly 6 inches long in total. I'm going to start with this one. This is my first knife that I'm going to try to make. The reason being is that it's simple. It's a simple design. It's not too big. And on other knife making channels, I heard some advice that for your first knife, you don't want to be making some monstrous, big, bulky 10-inch knife, because, the more metal, the more handle, it's harder to do. You might get discouraged. I kind of didn't want to go with like a really tiny neck knife because I don't really use neck knives, to be honest. I don't particularly like neck knives. So I thought about designing something that was smaller than a more classic one, but had a similar feel to it. And I designed it for my own hand, really. So the handle is quite small, actually. And I think it's about the smallest handle that I'm going to be trying to make. Partially because I want to see how this handle will feel when I'm actually using the knife. So, I'm not trying to design something crazy here. I want to actually see if this is going to be a nice knife to use. And it's simple, and hopefully it will be a nice functional small carving knife, if anything, or just, a utilitarian kind of small bushcraft knife that can make feather sticks and do all the light camp chores that bushcraft requires, like cutting cordage and, just random things, stripping bark off wood. Very rarely I find that I really need to have a huge knife on me, so that's why my designs are tailored towards smaller knives. My second knife, I've decided to go just a little bit bigger, with the blade length being 3 inches long, and the handle will be about 4. I plan to make it a 4-inch handle. I have generally small palms, I would say. Like, I don't have big hands. If I measured my palm length out, it's just about 3.5 inches. So, a 4-inch handle is going to fit my hand. And that's how I design my knives, is I design these knives to fit my palm. You can kind of see that the swell goes into the middle of my palm. My hand wraps around it very well. Basically, my last knife is going to be a typical quote-unquote bushcraft knife, where the blade length is going to be over 4 inches, or roughly 4 inches long, so maybe 4.25, 4.5 inches long. I haven't totally decided on how this is going to look, my last knife. My handle is going to be about the same. I'm hoping that my handle will be about just over 4 inches or something like that. But I plan that these two knives are going to have the same handle, and one knife is going to be 3 inches, and the other knife is going to be over 4 inches. The bevels will be exactly the same. I'm doing Scandi grinds. I have my knife, my filing jig set up for a Scandinavian grind, and I think it's going to be simple to do it that way. I know that I like Scandinavian grinds, so I'm going to try to do a Scandi. For the handles, I'm doing white G10, which is 1/4 of an inch thick, I believe. Yes. So all the handles are going to be white G10 with orange liners in it, orange spacers. So I'll probably go over the tools that I'll be using in a different video, but I just wanted to show, kind of my thoughts and ideas of the knives that I'm going to be creating, and kind of share with you what I'm going to be planning with this series. So, I don't know how many videos are going to be in this series. It could be quite a few of them. So you can either watch all of them, or you can watch at the end. I'll make a compilation, so it will just go shortly over all the work that I did within, a 5 to 10 minute video, and kind of just the outcome and what the knife looked like at the end. I'm going to actually start to make one of these knives, and that will be the next video in this series. I've already told you that my first knife is going to be this one here, my 6-inch knife. I will try to release one knife making video maybe once a week. We'll see how it goes. And also on top of that, I'll still be releasing my bushcraft videos. So I hope you guys will enjoy this series. I really would appreciate your comments in this series, especially if you've made knives before. That would be greatly appreciated. And you can give me some tips on what to do and what not to do.